we ready to go forward with Tony?
All right.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for this dinner.
Okay.
Right.
Or
We're down.
let's see.
Good thing there's somebody intelligent.
So I guess you can push there.
Perfect. Well, hey, hope everybody's doing well. My name's Tony Sigmund. I'm the Chief Development Officer for the YMCA of the Chesapeake, which has originally been on the eastern shore of Maryland, but is now moving into southern Maryland. So we're super excited to be down here and work with the folks in St. Mary's County. We've got some folks in Calvert County interested and all that kind of stuff. So has anybody got a connection with the YMCA, any history with the YMCA at all?
So.
Okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, awesome. That is so
And then
good.
when my children came along, trying to stay in shape.
Yeah, yeah.
Then
All right, awesome. Yeah, Philadelphia Y's got a great organization. So good friends up there. The YMCA is a worldwide organization. It was started in 1844 as a Bible study, and over the years evolved to meet different communities' needs. And so things like childcare, swim lessons, swim team, wellness. Right now, you heard a little bit ago, chronic disease. We're doing a Parkinson's program in partnership with the senior center here, and look to grow that program as well. We've got about a dozen folks involved, and last week we did assessments for half of them. This week we've got the other half of the group for assessments, and then we'll move into starting to serve those folks. There's been an interest in having a YMCA in St. Mary's County for over 40 years, right? Stu Egley was one of the first ones, I think, 40 years ago, and then Linda, she runs BAE, but she was interested about 20 years ago and tried to get it started. Both of the times previous, the YMCA that the folks in St. Mary's County contacted was the YMCA Washington, D.C. We don't look anything like any of their branches. And so they said, no, we're not interested. And fortunately, they made the connection through Tom Jarbo and Mike Hewitt to the YMCA of the Chesapeake over on the Eastern Shore. And Southern Maryland feels a lot like the Eastern Shore, right? Just wonderful people, open land, a history of farming and all that other kind of stuff. So, so that effort started. The county then went through a process of saying, would a YMCA be supported here by folks in the community? And the answer was yes. And they said, can we raise the money? And the answer to that was yes. But we've got to have a large gift. And so that large gift actually came from the county. The county had been looking at building indoor recreation space for several years, but they did not want to have the ongoing burden of running an indoor recreation facility. They said, we don't have the expertise. We don't do it well. We're going to lose a lot of money. And so we need somebody else to do it. And so the YMCA is a natural partner for that. We have done that in communities all over the United States. There's 2,600 YMCAs in the US, and we serve about 10,000 communities. And there's probably 100, 200 of those YMCAs that are partnerships with municipalities. And so the answer was to partner with the county and do that. And so so they chose the YMCA of the Eastern Shore. The YMCA of the Chesapeake has been around since 1857. We serve about 50,000 folks. One of the things that our Y does probably better than just about anybody else is eliminates all barriers for folks being able to be a part of the YMCA. We provided about $2 million in financial assistance last year, and we raised about $1 million, right? So the other $1 million comes from operations and things like that, and we still run a surplus each year. And by surplus, that means that we are able to fund our reserves and put money back into the staff and facilities and things like that. we've got 11 Ys on the Eastern Shore. This one's going to be number 12. And we anticipate a couple of more here, hopefully in the county and in Southern Maryland over the next few years. And there you can see a little bit. That's the map of where all the Ys are. We start in Cecil County and go all the way down to Chincoteague in Northern Virginia. So we've got the entire Eastern Shore covered, and now we're here at St. Mary's County. The YMCA, as I was mentioning earlier, it's no longer young men, right? It's no longer men. It's no longer all Christians. So everything has changed, and it's one of the most inclusive organizations in the country. As a matter of fact, the most diverse place on the planet is the YMCA in Jerusalem. So if you think about what's happening in Jerusalem right now, and out on the streets, all the chaos, they come inside, and folks who are Muslim and Christian and Jewish are playing pickleball together, and they're working out on treadmills together. They're doing swim team together and things like that. So, it will be that here. And we know that because we built a Y in Chestertown, Maryland, in Kent County, there at St. Mary's College, not St. Mary's College, at Washington College. And there had not been anything in that community that brought people together. It was very segmented. The rich stayed with the rich, the poor stayed with the poor, the black stayed with the black, the white stayed with the white, the Asian stayed with the Asian, Mexican stayed with Mexicans. I mean, it was one of those type communities, and we've all been in those communities, and that's what we're hoping to change, right? Is to give a place where folks can be together. When we opened the YMCA, within a few days, the community kind of woke up and said, "Where have all of our neighbors been?" And so now they're together. It is, again, the most diverse place in the county. It is, there are 5,000 folks who live in Chestertown. There's 6,200 members of the YMCA. And there's only 18,000 people who live in the county. So 1 in 3 folks are members of the Y, which is pretty exciting. And we anticipate serving a little over 10,000 folks here in St. Mary's County. Through all of the assessments, we chose the location at Great Mills Pool, and so right beside Great Mills High School, which has been another win for us. We have built 3 Ys that are across the street or within walking distance of middle schools and high schools. Actually have a Y in St. Michael's that is on the campus of the high school. And it really makes a difference because the number of folks who feel like that's part of their life, they just walk from school out at 3:30 and come straight into the Y. Some of them come for work. Some of them come for lifting weights. Some of them come for building community and hanging out with friends. And then others are playing sports. So we're really excited about doing that same thing here. In our findings, we know that there was a high need for folks to, especially young families, to have a place to go and connect. One of the priorities, I think, of the county, of the base, and of the folks in the community was, how do we attract folks to want to stay here, whether they grow up here and leave for college? How do we get them back? And then other folks, we had a meeting with Dr. Shaw, and he said, if I offer 20 people, 20 doctors a job, to attract folks and keep them. So to bring a YMCA, because so many folks are moving here and they've had another YMCA experience somewhere else. And so to be able to come here and know that, yeah, we've got a Y, yeah, we've got a great hospital, yeah, we've got a great senior center, yeah, we've got a great school, then it really kind of completes the community. Let's see. Try not to take too much time. So what are we going to build? We're going to build it's around 63,000 square foot facility. It's going to have an indoor 6-lane pool with another 2 or 3 lanes that are 2 feet to 3.5 feet, where we'll teach swimming lessons and we'll do water exercise classes and things like that. Folks can do water walking. A double gymnasium where we'll have 2 full court basketball courts, and then we'll have that can be converted to 2 volleyball courts, or it can be converted to 6 pickleball courts. So folks are really excited about pickleball. I know that we had a thing at the gymnastics center last week with the Lexington Park Business Association, and they've got 1 pickleball court, but they're saying, hey, we're going to find ways to do more. And so we're super excited about the opportunity there. We'll have a meeting spaces, group exercise spaces, the lobby and things like that are absolutely beautiful. I'll show you some pictures, but this is how it's going to lay out on the Great Mills site. So Great Mills High School is here. The pool is here. We're going to angle it a little bit. There'll be a little plaza that goes between the building of the pool and the YMCA. And then of course, parking and things like that, that'll be in front. Have a natural grass area up there. One of the things that, if you know that site, there are absolutely beautiful big oak trees there. And so we're going to keep as many of those oak trees as possible. And then some of the ones that we take down, we're going to turn in furniture and do some other fun stuff with. So that's something that I think will be absolutely wonderful. This is what the Y is going to look like from the front. And we built this exact YMCA in Chestertown, minus about 10,000 square feet. So it's 50,000 square feet there. And we extended the front end. So there's a larger fitness area and another group or another multi-purpose room downstairs. So, and then some of the pictures of the inside. Well, there's more pictures of the outside. The inside, you can see there's about 1/8 of a mile walking track, a large wellness center. This is kind of a free weight wellness center, and then a couple of group exercise courts. This is what the gymnasium will look like. This is actually, these are pictures I took in Chestertown. And Group X studios, where we'll do everything from chair exercise, like the enhanced fitness class that we offer here, all the way up through kickboxing and body pump and things like that. That'll be some of our more popular Group X classes. This is downstairs. You can see this is the lobby area here, big fireplace and couches and lots of places to sit and enjoy people, right? One of the things that we see regularly is folks will come in for about a 45-minute exercise class, and then they'll end up staying for another 2 or 3 hours drinking coffee and talking with their friends up front. So, you know, much like this, the Garvey Center with the place out here, it'll be set up a lot like that. So, you know, folks hang out here for hours during the day, and we'll do the same thing at the Y. Aquatics, Welcome Center, Stay and Play, which is an area where the kids will come with their parents, and they'll be there. They'll be well taken care of. The small children will be in one room, and then the others, the older kids, 7 and up, will be in the other room. And the other room will have a lot of STEM activities and things like that, just to keep them occupied. And then, of course, there you see what the pool will look like, and the gymnasium with, of course, pickleball. So anybody here play pickleball? No? Okay. Well, don't get started unless you're ready to get sucked into something. It is the rage. Holy cow. So what are we going to do when we're here? We'll have after school programs. We'll do homework assistance and tutoring. I've already met with Dr. Smith, and we're going to re-engage the 5th grade swimming lessons for all the kids in St. Mary's County. So they'll all get to be bused to the Y and do that. We give every 6th grader a membership at the Y. And part of the reason is they're graduating out of elementary school, and they're going kind of the bottom of the ladder again, right? And at that age, with all those hormones and everything else going on, they need a place to feel like they can be themselves and be safe and have a good time. And so we'll do some programming around that to make sure that as they're transitioning that they're doing really well. We do summer learning law, so we'll partner with the libraries and do reading in all of our programs. There's a reading component. A lot of times there's STEM components as well. Day camp, all those things that we'll do. And we'll also have a program for teens, a mentoring program for teenagers to help them find direction. And that's one of the things that we're hearing from the defense community and from the naval community, and then also from the folks who own the Toyota dealership and who own Marina. And they said, we need people to turn wrenches, and work on cars and things like that. And we do in Easton, we've got a boat building program where at-risk kids come in and they get these plans and work with a group of adults to build a wooden boat. And then they do that, and then they have to take it out in the water, right? So they make sure it's not going to sink. But they also get the pride of coming through the program and seeing this from the very beginning of plans, working with tools that they probably never worked with, and then having the opportunity to utilize that. And then they've learned some skills along the way that they'll be able to use later on. In youth development, just more, we'll do lifeguard training. We'll be the first employer of a lot of kids, right? So my son and my daughter both got their lifeguarding certifications when they were 15, 16 years old. And they've got a job now. If you're a lifeguard, you can have a job for the rest of your life. We've got folks who are 15 and 16 as lifeguards, and we've got folks who are 85 and 86 who are lifeguards at some of our YMCA's. So that's one of the fun things that we'll do. When it comes to working with adults, some of the things that we'll do, as I mentioned before, Rock Steady, we've got a blood pressure monitoring program, diabetes prevention, youth obesity program. We've got, of course, enhanced fitness. And then we have a program called Live Strong at the YMCA, which is a program for folks who've gone through cancer and treatment and things like that. And they're in there with people who are struggling with the same things. And a lot of times it's the majority of the folks are women who have gone through breast cancer or ovarian cancer, and they're able to sit in a group and say, this is what I experienced, or I'm scared about what's coming next. And somebody in the group says, honey, don't worry, we're right here with you, but here's what you can expect. And so it kind of softens the blow a little bit. But it's all about building community, right? And having somebody there that you can lean on. And then one of the things I mentioned earlier, we believe that taking care of our neighbors is one of our biggest responsibilities. And so we eliminate any kind of barrier. We make sure that if anybody wants to be a member of the YMCA, they can be a member. If anybody needs childcare through after school or summer camp, we make that possible. We've got a membership program so that if you see a price of $60 for an adult and you make $30,000 a year, then be guaranteed that $60,000 or $60 a month is going to be cut down to at least at the most $30 a month. And then if you need further assistance because you've taken care of an ill child or an ill parent or something like that, there are other ways to knock that down. We do that every day, where we make sure that that anybody who wants the YMCA can be a part of it. Let's see. Partnerships. Of course, we've partnered with the county. Now we're partnering with the Garvey Center here, which is another part of the county. I have joined the Rotary Club. We're a part of the NAACP group that's here. We are working with the health department, working with Mina Brewster, and doing a lot of stuff to make sure that we're connected and plugged in the areas of youth development, healthy living, and social responsibility. So So how does it get done? It's a $22 million project. The county funding came in at 15 million. We are working on a community campaign of 5 to 7 million. We hope that 2 of that 7 will come from the state and federal government. We just got an allocation of 850,000 thanks to Steny Hoyer and Ben Cardin. And so they asked for 3 million. It got cut down to 850, but the 850 went through. So we're excited about that. And so then we've got the other 5 million to raise. We're a little over 1.5 of that that we've raised, and we're just now starting to go out and meet with folks in the stakeholders in the community. We've got a committee of about 20 folks who are fantastic, but we really wanted a committee. I moved here in June, and the charge was to bring 8 or 10 people together. And so everybody we met with said yes. And so we ended up with 20, which is fantastic. And in that committee, all but maybe 2 or 3 have made pledges at this point. It's my fault that the other 2 or 3 haven't, but in that we've raised over $1.5 million, which is really exciting. So we think that we've had 5 events in people's homes and at the Naval Air Museum with the CSS folks. And then we've had an event at the Real Food Studio and one at the Hammond's house with the St. Mary's River Yacht Club. We've had hundreds of folks at these events all together. And so now we're in the process of dividing those lists up and going out and meeting with folks and starting to ask them for their pledges. The campaign is given, the pledges are given over 5 years through the campaign. So if somebody started in 23, they'll be finished by 27. If they started in 24, they'll be finished by 28. During that process, the 15 million that we got from the government as we start building will cover the majority of the construction. So timeline, architectural and engineering work is in process right now. We expect that to be done in the next 30 days. After that, we're still in the quiet phase, but after the drawings are done, we'll go to the through the process to get everything approved, and we'll hire general contractors and all that kind of stuff. And so our goal is that we'll break ground this fall. We're at 80% of the goal right now, and so our board says we've got to be at 90%. So that's another $2.5 million that we need to raise, and then we'll be there and be able to break ground on the facility. And our plan will be that it's about a 15 to 18 month project. So we'll be done in January, February of 2026 and opening the doors for members to come in. I think that's it. Yep. Any questions or anything?
Or as far as I know, I don't think we've got them in Australia. So I've never seen one, no idea what I'm looking at. So do you have like a cafe? It's like somewhere that literally could come and spend a day if you wanted to with a membership. That's sort of the plan.
Well, so usually folks trips to the YMCA are maybe an hour or 2 hours. You know, there are groups of folks who, like in the Ys that I've run, the senior center for the senior population comes in at around 7, and they're finished with exercise by 8 or 8:30. And then they hang out and drink coffee, and somebody will bring cookies or something like that. And they'll hang out in there for a couple of hours, and then they leave there and go to lunch and things like that. But the plan is not for somebody to come and camp there all day long. They'll be there for a few hours and do what they need to do, and then they'll go home.
But you have like food facilities and that sort of thing.
No, we will. There'll be vending machines and things like that, but we won't do at 2 of our branches. We do what you mentioned earlier, the congregate meals, and that's through the senior center. We have a partnership with the senior center in St. Michael's and in Queen Anne's County, and so at those branches, yes, we do congregate meals, but at this one, our plan's not to do that. So, yes, And I have built a couple of Ys, and we built out cafe space. And after about 6 months, the vendor usually realizes that they're not making the money they were hoping that they would make, and then they leave. And then it's an empty space that we usually fill in with coolers and vending machines and things like that. So we've not had the best luck with those, and that's nationwide. Typically, you know, when you're dealing with a restaurant, you're dealing with something that probably 15 or 20% of restaurants actually make it after their first year. And so that's what we run into with this type of space as well.
Yeah, I would think like maybe food trucks coming in.
Yeah, yeah.
That would be better.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great idea. And we do that with a lot, especially for special events, have them come in. And some of them have their, you know, they'll be there at lunchtime just because they know there's going to be 1,000 people in there working out. So, but yeah.
What's your connection with the base? Is there going to be a sort of formal connection? Like,
We, so the commander who just left was not really interested in doing anything. And so we are hoping that the new commander that started, that he or she will want to do something. We've heard good things. So our hope is that they'll be open to a partnership. But a lot of times what happens here is, years ago, everybody used to be able to go to the base and enjoy the amenities that were there, right? The gym, the fitness center, the pool, the golf course, and all those things. Those things, that funding came from the commissary and other activities. And that money is drying up because of things like Walmart and other things where you can go get it just as cheap, if not cheaper. And so that money's drying up. So those facilities are starting to deteriorate. And some of them are not operating anymore. I think 2001 ended the opportunity to be able to go on the base here, right? And utilize space there. So the answer is yes and yes. Yes, we've considered it. Yes, we hope that we have a relationship there, but there's not a formal thing. But that is one of our person who's running our campaign is retired Rear Admiral Bert Johnston. And so he's got a significant connection with the base and significant relationship with the CSS companies in and around St. Michael or St. Mary's County.
Yeah, I know that well. Yeah, the only reason I query is because the sort of expats who are here, like the Aussies, the
Yeah.
Kiwis, a lot of us aren't associated with base.
Yep.
But we're all looking
For this. Yeah.
yeah.
So
I was just thinking, like, even if it's just to say to all of the expats,
yeah.
you might not be able to come here, but you can do this instead.
Right. Yeah. That's fantastic. Thank you. Yeah.
It's a big population.
Yep. Super. Yeah.
So are you gonna be having a gift shop? Like people can buy mugs or?
They might be able to buy T-shirts and mugs and water bottles and,
Yeah.
you know, Fitbits and things like that. Yeah, I mean, some of those things are things that we deal with.
What is the membership cost?
This year for an individual is like 61 or 62 per month, and then you add on your spouse or significant other, whoever's in the household, another adult for $20, and then your children are $5 a piece up to 2, and then everybody else is free. So if you've got 4 kids, you pay for the first 2, and then the other 2 are just included in the family membership. Senior citizens, I think the price is like $10 less, $10 less for the primary, and then half the price for the additional adult. So, and then all of that is income driven. So if you make less than $60,000 a year, you get a percentage off, usually 10% per $10,000.
What is gonna be hours for the facility?
Typically 5 a.m. until 9 or 10, just depending on activity and things like that. Then Saturday and Sunday, it's usually 6 or 7 until 6 or 7. So it's usually a 12-hour day on Saturday and then a 6-hour day on Sunday. So like from 1 to 7 or something like that.
And how many employees do you anticipate hiring?
I meant to mention that. We will, at this Y, we'll have 6 or 7 full-time exempt employees like myself. And we will have about 100 to 150, 150 in the summer, but around 100 employees that'll be part-time. And that might be somebody who comes in and teaches a group exercise class, or somebody who comes in and works the front desk, or somebody who's a lifeguard or day camp counselor, or keeps the kids in the stay and play.
But then that could be open to volunteers as well.
So volunteers can do some things at the Y. Yeah, we'll have folks that can be greeters and things like that, and that can also volunteer. We just can't, because of what's it called, FSLA or something like that. You can't volunteer for something that you could get paid for, right? Or something that you do get paid for. So
Yeah. Or it could be limited to hours.
yeah, so we have folks come in and read to the kids. We have folks come in and greet our members. We have folks come in and, they'll take care of the coffee pot and
Right.
that kind of stuff, but they'll also enjoy the camaraderie and all that as well. So
Why did you choose that location? Did the county donate the land?
well, yes, but they would have also donated 2 or 3 other sites as well. And we looked at the largest population density is Lexington Park in St. Mary's County. So, and then that community is also very diverse. It's from everything from the base to the folks who really need support and help. And so that's an ideal place for the YMCA to be. This spot provided the best opportunity for ease of access. Water and sewer was already there. There were no more roads that needed to be cut through. There weren't any, we weren't landlocked, and we weren't in a position where we had to go in and fill. We looked at Nicolette Park, but that would have cost us about $2 or $3 more million to actually get the site ready. And then it would have been half of the park, right? We would have taken up half of the park. And so something that somebody had would be taken away. This site, we're not taking anything away. They already took the trailer park away several years ago. And so the only thing we're going to be taking is the big oaks. Everything else.
More of the trailer. Is that going, all the trailers are going to go there?
Well, so all of the trailers are already gone on that site at the pool, and all it is just old sites that were there, I guess, whenever the trailer park left, probably 10 years ago or so.
Are you going to connect with the traffic light, or how's the?
So we're working on that. We're doing a traffic study right now, but part of what we're looking at is what's the best way for folks to get in and out of the parking lot safely. I personally have built 2 YMCA's in North Carolina where there was not a traffic light, and there wasn't one that was planned. And we had a young lady almost get killed coming out and trying to take a left in the oncoming traffic. And so we went to our legislators, and we had a traffic light within 6 months. So, and then the next one that we built, we used that same story and got the traffic light at the beginning. So we're working with the county, and we'll work with the state on that part of it. I think Great Mills Road is a state-owned road. I don't think it's county-owned. So you have to go through the state to deal with that.
Right, yeah,
Yeah.
it's a state highway.
Yeah.
In the area that you're building, one of the concerns would be for crime.
Mhm.
Have you looked into that? I mean,
Yeah.
Is there going to be, like, when you stay open until 9 o'clock, are there going to be any police present there?
So
A lot of the seniors are going to maybe be scared to come out.
Sure, yeah, we've heard that. And so the way that we're addressing it, one is that we've already met with Steve Hall, and he's going to be very involved with our Y. His officers will be there in t-shirts, playing basketball with kids or pickleball or whatever. So we're already working on a strong relationship there. We will have cameras everywhere. And then we also have a code of conduct. So if folks come in and they're not doing what we need them to do, they won't be some of those people who we say we welcome everybody. They will be the somebody that doesn't get welcomed at the Y. And so we've dealt with that in high crime areas. We've dealt with it in rural areas. We had, if there's a Y that's near an interstate, it is always a prime opportunity for criminals to come in, smash and grab. And so we'll have signage in the parking lot saying, don't leave your personal belongings. Folks will leave their purse right on the front seat or their handgun, right on the front seat, you know, just things like that we've experienced. And so we'll do everything we can from a signage and camera standpoint with, police presence. Bad people are going to do bad things no matter what, right? And so we will do our best to make sure that we're preventing those things. Well, our staff will be out in the parking lot, walking around and, all of those things.
It sounds wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be a positive for the county and
Yeah.
the area.
Yeah.
And for the kids to not walk up and down the streets, have some place to go.
That's what we hope. Yeah, so I started a program in 1993 called Middle School Madness. And on Friday nights, all the middle schoolers from the area, 400 or 500 of them would come to the YMCA and kind of take over from 6 until 10. And it was a safe place for them to be. There were police that were there. There were other caring adults that were there, and we were playing basketball with them, or volleyball, or swimming, or whatever. And so it was just a great opportunity for us to form relationships and have a safe space for kids. And we'll do that same thing here, and we'll do it with the high schoolers and all that other kind of stuff. Yeah.
Have you communicated with the churches in the area?
So, yes, we are working with the Church of the Ascension. Several other pastors have been to our presentations and for different things in the Lexington Business Association connection, and we will continue to reach out to churches as we're going through. Yeah. And we will likely have a church at the Y. In every community I've been in, some church needs a space to get started, and we're a great location because we've got a big gym or classrooms or whatever. So we've got some YMCA's that have 2 churches in them. And then some of them have mega churches, right, where there's 1,000 people in there every Sunday morning. So, but yeah,
And if you have a card.
I do. Yes, absolutely. Anything else? Thank y'all for allowing me to come. Sorry I talked so much, but excited about being a part of this community and doing good stuff with all of the people in St. Mary's County.
Take the town.
Yeah.
Thank you for-